What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again with another 90-day fiance video, and this one right here is all about Mike and Natalie. I have no idea why my mind went blank there. But before we get into it, let's start off by giving a big massive shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel, that is a member of Patreon, and that is a subscriber as we continue to grow. Now, with that being said, there was a picture on Reddit that had resurfaced of Mike and Natalie when she first came to the US. And this picture in particular definitely put Mike on the back burner. He definitely put him in a position where a lot of people were no longer on his side. I mean, to be fair, I can't say people were really on his side at this time anyway, but this itself in particular definitely did not make things any better for himself in particular. Now, as you can see in this picture here that was provided us on Reddit, there is a circle, and as you can see, the circle is pointing at a flag, or at least something that has a symbol of the flag itself in particular, which we all know is very controversial, should we say. Well, it's not, but yeah. Either way, the point that I'm getting to here is that right now the conversation is happening on Reddit, and the reason why I'm bringing it to you here is because you see people are now talking about the most recent events that we witnessed in this single life, and also on top of that, the most recent events that we also witnessed and the most recent tell-all. Now, here's the thing though, and I feel like it's important to bring this forward to you guys here before we get into the part 3 of 90 Day Fiance Single Life Tell All Part 3, because at the end of the day, I can say for myself in particular, I am someone that has definitely made judgments based on what we're seeing and based on the context, but at the same time with also neglecting the things that Mike had also put Natalie through, as well as what she put him through too. And these are the things that really identify why the hell are they still actually in this marriage situation. Why has the divorce not been pushed forward by Mike more than anything else? So here's the thing though. For some of you guys who maybe didn't watch the seasons in the past when it came to Mike and Natalie, I'll give you a little summary on what happened, okay? A little background check. So here's the thing though. We know that Mike initially went to Ukraine to visit Natalie for the first time. And in that season in particular, not only did he visit Natalie, but he also met Natalie's mother, and this is someone who he built a very good relationship with, which was fantastic. But we also witnessed Natalie being an absolute freaking brat. And that is me being polite. But here's the thing though, when it came to Mike and his beliefs in terms of religion, Natalie was always about, you must be religious. But then all of a sudden, she did a whole 180 on the whole religion situation, which was quite fascinating. At the end of the day, it still tells you the kind of person that she is, right? Someone who can easily sacrifice beliefs for the greater good of her own madness. And what is that madness? That madness is children. That madness is marriage. Now, here's the thing though, some of you may not remember, but I'm going to let you know right now, there was this time before where, where Natalie did have a ring, an engagement ring. And at this time, Mike didn't want to have kids yet. He at least wanted to get to the States before that even happened. But Natalie, on the other hand, as you know, wanted to have kids in Ukraine before even coming to the States, And this is something that made her go absolutely off the rails. And because it made her go off the rails, she then ended up literally tossing the engagement ring, shall I say, that Mike had obviously given her at the time. And this is something that definitely, made Mike. Some people view it differently. Some people feel like this is the moment where Mike switched off. Some people see it as a moment when Mike then decided to torment her by flipping the script. And it really depends on how you want to look at it. But here's the thing though. We know that when that happened, that definitely turned Mike the wrong way. We know that definitely affected him. So when it came to Natalie getting back into Mike's good books, Mike pretty much made Natalie earn that ring back, earn herself back into his life, which respectfully makes a lot of sense, but there was ways of doing it. And I think some of the ways that he did it were some of the ways that some viewers view it as, yeah, I think you're going a bit too far here. This looks like as if you're trying to torment her or as if you're trying to get revenge on her. It really depends. And I think when we look at the picture stuff in particular as well, people don't use it in reference to this situation here, but seeing that also is a, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's an indication of the kind of character Mike may be. And this is where some people even come out by saying that they believe that Mike may be some form of an abuser. Maybe some of the things that he did do towards Natalie probably made her worse than what she is. I mean, look at it this way. We know that Mike's mother has always had a big voice. And we know that she has always spoken to Natalie in a certain type of way. And some people viewed it as, it's a good thing that we're seeing someone tell Natalie how it is. But then some people viewed it as, well, shouldn't Mike be telling his mother to leave his relationship with Natalie so he can talk to Natalie, however, is necessary if she's being XYZ? And if it's me personally, if I'm in that situation, I'm not going to let my friend, my family, or nobody talk to my partner in any kind of way. If we got issues, we're gonna deal it together. And if we can't do it together, well, then clearly we shouldn't be together, right? It's as simple as 1, 2, freaking 3. But at the end of the day, though, with that being said, though, we are now in this situation. Fast forward into Natalie eventually then, well, obviously she came to the States, and at this point here coming to the States, this is when a lot of people believe that this should have never happened after the ring toss. Really and truly, it should never happen then. And also on top of that, the fact that she was so demanding to want to have a child in Ukraine, even if it meant that she was going to be a single mother in Ukraine for however long it was going to be until he can come back, she didn't care. That's what she wanted. But of course, Mike was never on board in these things. And it's crazy because if you're looking at the things that happened in Ukraine, every single thing that happened was a sign to say that Mike should have never even got re-engaged with Natalie in the first place. He should have never even took her to the States in the first place, which is why some people do believe that maybe he has some type of abusive tendencies, give or take. Some people believe that he only brought her to the USA just to get revenge by tormenting her, by making life difficult for her. Now, I mean, listen, I feel like some of those things can be slightly a bit far-fetched, but at the same time, though, people do that. So, something that we definitely cannot ignore or put it under the rug, if you dig what I'm saying. So I'll let you run with that however you see fit, basically, in a nutshell. But nonetheless, though, we are now in a situation where we fast forward to Natalie leaving Mike, and obviously doing her dates, doing all the madness, all that kind of stuff. And now we're in a situation that in the most recent season, she's now looking to want to go back to Mike. But here's the thing, though. This is now the question. The question is, though, did Natalie initially actually leave Mike because Natalie is Natalie? Or did she actually leave him in the end because of who he is and some of the ways he was, and also with his mother? There's so many different things, obviously. There's so many elements that I guess we don't see on camera, right? But either way, though, regardless of why she left, one thing that we do know is that she wanted to come back. But the question is, though, when it came to her wanting to come back to give Michael another chance because she's legendary, it has become a curiosity of my own as well as other people of what does she really mean by that, though? What does she actually really mean by that? Was she trying to say, even though I know I did wrong, I know that Mike can't do better than me, but at the same time, I want to give him a chance to prove himself. But of course, for that to happen, of course, I've got to prove myself too. And look at it this way: when Natalie came in, she wasted no time trying to be friendly with Mike, of course, but also trying to be friendly with the mother too. It's like she was on a mission to redeem or to repair or to try and overcome things that had happened previously. But either way, though, we're now in a situation where these two, for some bizarre reason, aren't having a divorce. This makes me wonder, though, is there a reason, is the real reason behind them not having an actual divorce or not even filing for it because maybe it's something that they are both using over each other's head? Because at the end of the day, if Michael is someone that is abusive, someone who does have abusive tendencies, one of those things is, having power on someone, and him still being married to her at that moment in time and not wanting to get divorced himself in particular, because it's not like he's ever tried to push for it. That also screams that maybe he does that because he wants to have some type of power over her. Now, that is something that we haven't necessarily seen displayed, but here's the thing, though, if he is someone who is an abuser, we all know that a lot of them can move very, very slyly. Things that they do is always behind closed doors, and it's never actually in your face. So there is that element too. But also at the same time, we know with Natalie is the reason, we also believe that the reason why she hasn't pushed the divorce is because she sees Mike as her backup. She can't find no one else. And also at the same time, Mike did come out before by saying that he hadn't even filed for a green card yet for Natalie. He did say that, but I believe it was in the last season of the single life. So with that being said, though, there is also the tie of her getting a divorce. If she gets a divorce, and that means clearly she would have to leave the country, right? It only makes sense. So there is that. So I think it's easy and clear to understand why Natalie does not want to have a divorce. But in terms of Mike, that is the part where it gets a bit tricky. And that's where I believe now a lot of people, like myself in particular, are believing that the reason why he doesn't want a divorce is purely because it's a control factor. Because at the end of the day, he knows that her life is in his hands. But he must know that. Okay? Now, despite what we saw with Mike, and his mother, obviously telling Natalie to basically, no, I'm not going to take you back or whatever. Let's not forget, though. Mike, once upon a time, made Natalie re-earn the ring. So therefore, they can get re-engaged. Okay? And then obviously that happened. And then, of course, a lot of things went down. Therefore, that Mike ended up having this persona being switched off and no longer caring no more. But at the same time, though, he had the part where he wanted to earn it. There is no saying that we are not in that situation again where I wouldn't say that Mike does not want Natalie back. I would say that Mike wants Natalie to earn herself back into his life again, but this time a whole lot more intense than before. But also at the same time, you know what I mean? Okay. But also at the same time to make sure he has her now in a position where she can be his puppet. You know, so he's in control. He's the leader, he's the alpha. Because at the end of the day, some of the things that his mother said, even though those are things that we've been thinking, we got to understand that his mother is also someone who's very powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if she was also trying to make sure that her son only got back with Natalie, given the fact that the power was in his hand for the long haul, if you just see what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it depends on really how you want to see it. But again, I wanted to bring this video out before the tell-all part 3, because I feel like when it comes to the thing, or I feel like when it comes to how we're going to judge what goes down next to them, you know, it's very important that we remind ourselves of everything that has actually gone down with this couple. And of course, some of the things I've said are factual. Some of the things I've said, obviously, you know, just things that people have said or things that I also think too. But either way, though, you guys let me know what you're thinking in the comment section right now, because like I said before, the conversation is hot on Reddit. Let's make that conversation hot here as well. But nonetheless, though, let me know what you're thinking. If I miss anything, please make sure you put that down in the comment section as well. But with that being said, please don't forget to like, subscribe, of course,